Make it part of the maintenance.
Right. What's that thing with all this stuff?
Seems like somebody's wasting
Right.
money on that. You could be spending that on anything.
Right.
All right.
I'll take.
Okay, let's call this membership meeting to order. We don't have a secretary. Well, no, we do have a secretary.
It was board secretary Megan, but you need the number and you don't. 71 is what I got, you know.
No, this is we already did.
She did. Nothing. Okay. You do not have a quorum again. You have 71 present in person or by proxy. You need 89. So there's no quorum. So what that means for this is the motion for the minutes we'll have to skip. All the resolutions and the votes that we did on the proxies and the ballots, we have to skip. But now, there's two other parts, the election and then, of course, the open floor. So I'll do the easier one first. The open floor, it's a members meeting, there is no quorum, there is no meeting, but if you all just want to talk since you're here, whatever, that's fine. I'm not going to take minutes on it because we're not going to approve them later. I will take notes if it's a task that I can do or the board can do. And then the election, so directors are typically, it would roll over if all the same board members were on. Officers are at the conclusion of the annual meeting, whether there's a quorum or not. So at the conclusion of this meeting, in 5 seconds when I'm done talking, there are no officers. But because the board is just simply going to roll over, Tom did not put his name in for the next 2 years. Laura Sani did. So Tom will come off, Laura will come on, just as if, so I'm going to explain it so everybody gets it and there's not questions. The statute allows that even if you have no quorum in a condominium, if 20% of your owners vote, then you can have an election. So you only need 20% of people to vote to move forward. When no election is needed because no extra candidates came through, that 20% cap has been met. It's as if 100% of you said, we're not going to run again. So anyway, that I double checked with the attorney, I double checked with someone who has 40 years experience in this business. That is how it's always been done. There is case law out there regarding this. So Tom is off the board, Laura will be on the board, and there is no official meeting, but again, I don't see anything wrong with opening the floor if people have things they want to discuss. I don't think, unless the board doesn't want to, but I mean, there is no members meeting officially. So my minutes are going to say we called it to order. No quorum was established. The 2024 board rolled over with the new I'll list them with Tom leaving, Laura coming on, and that's it. And it's not going to be any minutes that we ever have to approve. We're going to go back and try and approve the 2021 minutes again next year. So did I explain all that clearly? Does anyone have questions about that process at all? Perfect. Okay, so then, do you want to introduce them, and then open the floor, and do you want to do that, or have Laura, whatever you want?
I will introduce and open the floor, but that's where I'm leaving.
Okay. All right.
Laura, would you like to
Come up here.
come up to the table? Okay, so obviously cluster directors didn't change except for at large. Nancy is cluster 1, Megan is cluster 2, Robin is cluster 3, Dawn is cluster 4, Charlie is cluster 5, and cluster 6 is open, and Laura is now the new at large. So,
No, she's on the board.
oh,
She's not necessarily the at-large, that'll all be decided in the
No,
organization.
Yeah, the at
no,
large is what she is.
yeah, that's what
She is the at large.
She's the at large.
Oh, you mean for the whole community?
Yes, yes,
You all call it that, but that's any director who's not an officer is an at-large.
yep. It's been an interesting ride. I'm not leaving the community, but obviously leaving the board. I wish the community well, and hopefully the new board can bring some cohesive to the community and move forward with the projects that they plan to do. So that's all I have. So I will open the floor to the new board, and thank you very much.
Thanks, Tom.
Alright, take your name, Elise. Alright, so for the rest of you, there's literally no, there's no meeting, but do you want the owners to just speak about whatever they want to speak about, or do you have things? Yeah. Anybody want to talk about anything?
Well, I look forward to the board, and I look forward to the board, taking care of their own clusters with their budgets. I look forward to helping each other. There's no reason that we can get as many people as are willing, and we know that's always a challenge to get willing people. And I look forward to them having a whole community view of the rest of Pebble Springs, and that, like Tom said, that we get more cohesive versus fractured, which it does seem that some element of that came into us. I would like to see some security fixed with that fence along the side. I'd like that opening shut. We see a bunch of people who come through. That probably helps with the break-ins, and yes, they can jump the fence, but at least it's something to slow it down some. At least the bikes and the pedal things can't get through there. And I would love to see the board address that opening so that we don't have the flow through of the community that we have. And I also love the idea, the board already talked about, Janet talked to you about, I read a lot of articles about how much you can get out of your maintenance man, how much more that you're not paying. I alone, when I was director, got a price for doing the carport, just power washing it for $1,600. I could do it with our maintenance man for about $350 because of the salary that we pay him. So there's so many ways, little paint jobs, things that don't require a license, that we can save money for the community. I'd love to see them spread fertilizer or grass seed or something. Get a spreader, we'll buy that, and the seed and the fertilizer, whatever, but our grounds could look better if some of that happened. The board would have to decide the scope of it, but I do think there's a big opportunity to cut down from jobs that are vendored out.
I would like to, sorry.
No, it's an owner's meeting, so anybody, you're an owner. Go ahead.
Oh, who was gonna talk? I'm sorry.
Go ahead, if you have to.
Oh, just off the top of my head while I was thinking about it, while we have a good amount of people in attendance, we've talked, at least in my short period of time here, moving here, we've talked about having committees and volunteers to start getting some things that I feel like come up every few months. I'll just give a simple example. For new owners, I'll use myself as an example. When I came, I kind of had to like figure out where the mailbox was and which mailbox was mine and the pool key, and all those examples are stuff that I've gotten questions about since I became a director of new owners, for example, coming and saying, oh, where's my mailbox? I'm like, sorry, I don't know. You might want to try the key. So my point is like having like a welcoming committee we could do something where we don't have to spend a bunch of money. It could be a simple bag with some, supplies that we could put together, but mainly maybe a frequently asked question sheet, like welcoming them to the community, asking, giving them any kind of pertinent details about the clubhouse and whatnot. So I kind of just wanted to plug that because I've been told that the reason why we don't have any committees or we don't have any like different groups working on certain things is because we can never get anybody to volunteer to do it. So I'm planting the seed.
And I've never gotten an email from the community asking for volunteer. I think they go to pockets and ask, and that's nothing wrong with that, but I think we'd better, I certainly could do a committee. I certainly could, if they came up with a couple of ideas of committee. You're gonna probably have to do the Saturday meetings for the committees, because people work. And there can't be 5 hours every Saturday, because people work, they work, and they have all the other stuff to do. But they can still contribute if we make it reasonable for them. The finding committee, I have to tell you, I think you're gonna have to put rules and regulations, that people can be fined for harassing them, because as a director, you get harassed and you get threatened. So if you don't offer some kind of safety for the members of the finding committee, I was going to be on that, I won't unless they do that, because as a director, I was harassed. I don't want to bring that onto my life.
I hear you. Yeah, one example I could give, and I know, I've asked Janet about it a few times. For example, there's a building that has windows, the windows outside need to be painted, and letters have been sent and nothing has been done. And then the next step is, it becomes, again, for a cluster that doesn't have that much money, it's expensive to go after someone that's not doing what they're supposed to. So a year later,
You have
still
no
it
teeth.
sits.
Without fine,
Yeah.
as a director, I had it. People are like, she's doing this, he's doing that, they're doing whatever. And I went to CNS, which was not Janet at the time, and they're like, you don't have fines, you have no teeth. You're gonna pay $20 and send a letter that they're gonna go, oh, fuck, another letter, right in the red file. We do need a finding committee, but you gotta find a way to protect the people who do it, because this day, and I was threatened as a director, and other people were threatened as directors, you gotta find a way to take care of the finding committee members, so no one's gonna do it. I don't want people throwing dog stuff on my doorstep and.
So my question is, if people are on a committee, do they have to directly, talk to the owner that's in question, or can they just report it to you and take a picture and then send a fine?
You're talking about two different things. So one, we talked about this before with Susan, and one would be to go look for things,
Right.
would be an inspection committee
Right.
maybe.
Okay.
Just to differentiate. And then what the statute requires, the finding or compliance committee has to be 3 or more members who, the board will make a motion at the board meeting saying, I want to find this unit, and this unit, let's say $100 a day or whatever you decide. I want to find them this, and this, and I will send out the 14-day or more letter telling them they have to comply or they're being fined. In that letter, date, time, and place for the hearing or compliance committee, which let's say Judy's on.
Okay.
And then she would be up here at the clubhouse to meet with them, and I'll be I'm going to give you their job description and then give you my advice, what I would say to the finding members, because hopefully some will hear it either on the video or here.
Yeah.
The board is voting to fine these owners for non-compliance. Your job is the checks and balances to make sure that the board is not fining people for a violation that doesn't exist, not fining people for a violation of an item that's not in the declaration. People will come in here and they will tell you why they don't have the money. They will tell you why they didn't have the time. They will tell you their health. They will tell you their job. They will tell you their kids, their dogs. They will come and they will tell you all the reasons that they have not cured their violation. The job of this committee is to, independent of the board, do the work of the corporation. So my advice to my committee members is always this. First off, I hope the board, at least under CNS, we will not be sending things to the finding committee that is not valid without pictures. You will have all that when you come to me. You'll have copies of the letters. You need to vote to approve the fine or deny the fine based on what the documents say. It is a business decision. If you feel bad and you want to be a good neighbor to the person who lost their job, has health issues, you know, kid's sick, the dog died, whatever the issue is, if you as an individual can volunteer to give them a check, money if you're willing to help. You can volunteer a piece of equipment, maybe it was, you know, fix a screen, hey, I have this thing that does the screen. You can volunteer your time to go over and help them fix it, but your decisions in the committee are looking at the letter, is what they got, if it says, please repair your screen, is their screen torn, that's the first thing you're going to look at, is the wording that's in here, that is copied from the documents, is it really a violation? Does it say that owners have to maintain their property, including windows, doors, etc.? If it does say that, then you have no reason to disapprove it. If someone walks in, and you are not supposed to table them, I am not giving you legal advice, I'm going to tell you what I've done and what attorneys have advised me in the past, and you can certainly check with your own, but if someone walks in and says, look, I got a contract, I've signed it, I've paid the deposit, but they can't do it till next month, that's what's called a proof given good faith effort. So you can table that one until the following meeting to allow them that extra time to get it done because they have put some money down and they've come in. If someone walks in with a proposal and says, look, I talked to the screen company, that's not good enough. I can call and get a proposal for, I don't know, Laura, your roof tomorrow. That doesn't mean I'm going to pay for Laura to get a roof, but I can get a proposal. So a good faith, good effort, the committee can give that extra time. The board cannot. The board cannot be selective in any way, shape, or form. So everyone gets the same letter. If they haven't complied in 30 days, then the next time the board meets, you vote to fine them, and they get the hearing letter. Most people will cure the violation before the 14 days is up because they don't want to be fined. The hearing letter, per the statute, does say that the fining begins the date of this letter. So by the time you get to the hearing, you've already reached the max fine of $1,000, $100 a day, per the statute. Now it has to be at least 14 or more days out, but we can only fine you a max of $1,000. So you've already hit. If the committee approves your fine, $1,000 is going on your ledger, and it is due 5 days from the date of the hearing per the statute. So I think the first couple months are rough, but if you get in that process and people start seeing it's cheaper to paint the windowsill that Megan's talking about, fix the screen, or get someone out to, I don't know what, fix your door you husband kicked through or your wife kicked through or whoever was mad that day. You know, it's cheaper to do that, but you have to get the word out. So basically, long story short, that is the entire process. And so we're looking for people who are willing to sit in this room, listen to people, double check the board's facts, and vote in a business sense. If you are, for lack of a better term, it's the only one I know, a bleeding heart, this isn't the committee for you. But you do have to have compassion because people do have woes. There is a reason why they haven't done it. It's not everybody's just being lazy and ignoring us. The ones that are being lazy and ignoring you won't show up to the hearing. So I'll tell you that right now.
And how often will that happen really? I mean, like the likelihood of getting to that final phase, that's not very common, is it?
Oh, will be.
The finding, it will the first
Like,
couple months,
so
and then
the
it'll
hearing.
peter off.
The
Yep,
hearing?
yep.
The hearings
Absolutely.
are common?
In the beginning.
Oh, very in the
Very
beginning,
beginning.
and then it goes either.
Till they
Okay.
get that they got bit by the $1,000.
So
Yeah, when somebody gets fined and word gets around,
Word gets around.
they'll start.
you used the word statute twice. Is this the bylaws? Is this our
This
Pebble
is
Springs bylaws?
718, the
State
Florida statute, Florida law,
State.
condominium, yes. It says that fining committee or compliance committee has to be independent of the board. They can't be related on the board, you know, et cetera. And they have to review this independently of the board. I'm just going to put out there, I mean, all committee members, regardless of what committee votes, the welcoming committee or this committee, are appointed by the board. So if you are put onto a compliance committee and you are consistently voting against the fines that the board wants to impose to clean the neighborhood up, they just need to vote and remove you. I'm not
Right.
saying you can only
Right.
come on here, I'm saying come on with a good faith effort to do exactly what is needed to be done to help clean up the community, do it properly, and if you come across one that you really truly feel should be declined, or the board is overstepping, then say so, vote no.
Can you go back to the board if you really don't think so, but you wanna confirm with them? To be
You
fair
can
to
at
all
the
the other
meeting, it's
owners?
independent, so you just deny it, you vote to deny it.
Okay.
And if the board, if they come back, you can write on there why you denied it. And so they may come back and say, Janet, send another letter, make sure to put this language in there also. Because it doesn't mean the window's not broken, it just means you didn't quite
The
understand
landscape
that.
in it or something.
Right.
Yeah. Now they're saying,
Right.
well, the landscaper should replace it.
Yeah. But your problem people are gonna still be problem people.
It is, yes. But the fines do stop at some, when the bills start accumulating, it is a great thing and you have no teeth in the community without it, but
Where does the money go? Does it go into the clusters? Like, where does that go?
Bulletproof vest.
it's not a money gaining operation, it's a community preserving operation. So you're never in it to make money, but that is a good question.
Well, I know, I'm just thinking again.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no,
don't
I
know
just
where
wanted
it
to state that
goes.
because I've heard it a million times and it's true.
You know, I gotta say, I'd have to really look into it because of the way you're set up. I'm gonna say it would go in the master as other income.
Right, that's right.
Because when a person gets fined, it goes on their ledger, which will hit accounts receivable because the money's owed, and it will hit, other income instead of assessments. So assessments would be, for lack of, our code, CNS, 5,000 is assessments, member assessments. That's what your normal monthly billing hits. A fine would hit like 5010 other income. So, that 5010 you all don't have on the individual. So I guess, like if it's gonna be, you're not having an individual hearing committee for each cluster. It doesn't matter if cluster 1 has 17 violations this month and cluster 2 only has 1, or vice versa.
Is there any
You know,
way
it's all
legally to
fluid.
use that fine to paint that person's window?
That's a whole different thing, and that requires you sending them notice that if they don't repair it within so many days, that you're going to go ahead in there and
Which
do
we can
it.
do it now. We can do that now, I understand.
You can do it now.
So if somebody didn't repair the screen over and over again, you can ask Janet to write notice and then
And
hire
do
the
it.
screen guy, he'll do it and they pop it on their ledger just like a
Right.
fine.
Now, with Megan's specific issue, the one that she's talking about that looks awful, you can clearly see that there is some trouble. It's not just the color. So if we go in and paint it and cover up another issue by painting it, then we've opened ourselves up.
Yeah, you don't have to.
So,
Are we, like, am I able to call and get an estimate of what the problem is? Because it's not my condo? You know what I'm saying? Like, am I able to call and say, can you figure out what's
yes,
going
but
on
you
here?
gotta paint the other one first.
Oh.
We got some ongoing stuff.
Okay. All right, well, I'll be quiet. but-
That wasn't a secret, I'm sorry, I was just teasing her.
It's the, you know, I'm
Cluster
just
two
trying to
has
find
some
where we can
issues.
fix stuff, because there's no money, that's all. I'm
Yeah.
always trying to find some kind of
No, wait.
way to.
Wasn't
make
it you
things
I
happen.
just said? So, there are cluster 2 owners here? I know Susan too,
Yeah.
well, cluster 2. Okay, so it was you, right? I said you had the funds, you paid back the master.
Mhm.
The due to,
Yeah,
due
we did.
from, right? That was
Yeah,
you?
we did, uh-huh.
Yeah, the due to, due from. There were 4 clusters that owed to the master still. Charlie, cluster 5 and cluster 4, I paid that money back right away. And cluster 2, believe it or not, as dire straits as they were in, people have paid so far some of their special assessment and they've paid back the master. So we still have 1, 3, and 6 owing. Hi, we're still in the membership. Yeah,
Are you guys voting for officers today?
okay.
I think we have to, I think that's part of the.
Well, when you're all done whenever you're ready, you can call that meeting to order.
Regarding the violations that in the fining committee, I'm assuming that it's $1,000 per issue, right? So if you have somebody who has bad windows, railing issues, or whaver they're responsible for, it's not just a max for that unit of $1,000, it's $1,000 per
Per issue.
violation/issue.
And the way to do that, the statute allows it per issue, but the way to do that is to send an individual letter for each item. We don't send, and an individual hearing notice for each item. Yep, $100 a day, up to 1,000. You can mess around with those things, but the point is to get to the point where you can fine them the max amount. There's no sense in lowering fines.
You got a question?
Whose job is it for the screens on the lanai on the outside to keep up to date?
Per your documents, the owners are responsible for screens.
I understand the screens, but even the outside, the flat, you know, when they attach to.
Frame.
The frame?
The frame.
I think so, because it's windows and, I'll double check for you, but it's windows and all the casing, and I think it is them, right? It's the owners.
You have to read the document.
Yeah. I'll double check. What unit are you in?
5.
5? No, what, your unit number?
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you said we'll cluster everybody.
That's it.
5926.
15, I'll email you tomorrow or call you tomorrow.
Okay.
So does that mean that we have to paint the inside of our patio, like the frame and stuff, or is that part of the painting for?
Who asked that? I'm sorry, I didn't know who I was looking at. Hi. No, you do. You have to paint. Because, cluster 2, who else painted? The painter will usually offer it for a price, and you can sign up or not sign up. I know at 2 or 3, at most 3, Robin, they did a whole bunch of people. You found somebody, right, to do them cheaper.
Huh?
You found somebody to do it cheaper. Because I think he offered it like $425 or something. But it had to be on the days, like, I'm gonna be out there, and if he didn't, like, with cluster 3, he just left. He's like, the painting's done, I didn't hear from anybody. He didn't tell me it was time to do the things. He didn't, all right, never mind with the painting.
Yeah, I was
The
just
railings,
wondering,
I'm not even gonna
how
go
do we
there.
get the paint that matches the same color and?
Yeah,
They can give that to
You
you.
go to Florida.
Yeah.
Florida paints.
yeah, they have we can give you the color codes and you can get it right at the paint, and then, like for touch-ups and stuff, I know the maintenance guy has a little bit, right, like if your door, because he painted the doors.
Yeah.
People were at home, he painted the door
I
anyway.
was just looking at the inside of my patio, like the frame that's there, and it needs to be painted.
Yeah, to match. What cluster are you in?
2.
2, yeah,
We don't have any money. No,
yeah,
it's always my
You
answer,
will
I'm
get
sorry.
it.
yeah. And cluster 2, not many people, I think only like 3 or 4 people got their lanai painted by him. But yeah, I can give you the paint codes.
Okay.
And then, yeah, you can have whoever, or do it yourself, whatever's cheapest for you, you can do.
That'd be fast if I just did it myself. And one more question. You guys talked at the last meeting about getting this fence repaired, but they never came in to do it yet, so.
Right here is not repaired?
Yeah, no, it's
No,
not.
that's.
And now you have
That's
cars
what we were talking
coming
about when we
over
did the
there.
nice landscaping.
What they jump through.
Well, there was a car that almost hit me because I was going out the other day and they were
Yes.
cutting through there from this bar parking lot or
Yeah,
whatever.
we talked about right in today, it's still on board.
I think, Tom, let me see what date they said they were coming out, because I know there is, hang on.
Under contract.
No, the date they were coming. Because I asked him while he was here to give me the, for bollards, you know, the estimate to put some bollards in, so they can't do that anymore from there. I'll have to look, it's scheduled, I thought it was passed, but it is scheduled, already, so I'll let you know. What's your, well, I'll let everybody know, but what's your?
Yeah, would you, that'd be really nice, thank you. We'd all like.
I tried to pull out the police report that he said that he filed with the sheriff's department, but they said they didn't have a record of it. Because I was gonna ask them, you know, what information they have, see if we can file, like a small claims lawsuit or get a judgment or something.
But we don't have the person.
I was gonna say, I think that's why they didn't file, we didn't have anybody
There's no
to file
person
it,
we
yeah.
have. They lost where we are in the.
Well, they said they had a video from
Oh.
the bar, but.
You know, they probably do, but I didn't hear that part. If they have a video from the bar, they should go after that. Does anybody on the board know if there was a video from the bar?
Yeah,
Well, that's what Tom said,
Tom
but.
looked into that, but there wasn't anything that could be seen,
It was not clear enough,
you know.
so.
Okay, they were coming out to do the estimate on the bollards on the 20th of February, so the fence, hang on. I'll find the answer. If I don't find it now, I'll let you know, but they were already tasked, they were already approved to fix that. It should have been done. Oh, here it is. Oh, they wanted the materials, and they wanted, to purchase the materials, and they wanted a check mailed to them.
So is that?
I'm getting back there, I'm getting there.
I see the face go.
I jinxed us, because this is what I sent to the board. USA Fence will be out to take a look and provide an estimate on 2/1 at 2 p.m. faster than they have been for about 2 years. And hence the jinx. Oh. No, I gotta keep looking. I can't find it. I'm just reading.
Did you guys say at the last meeting also about hiring a dog food company?
They're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I backed it up the other day.
They're not even picking it up, I understand, they're just emptying the waste things and $1,300 for 2 months, does anybody think that's a great idea?
Well, no, cause the kid out here had the same stuff in it for 3 days.
And if we have the maintenance guy, why
They
are we
pick it up
paying?
twice a week. They pick up twice a week and they empty the bags.
Wednesday,
And it's on
Saturday,
Saturday
and
and-
10 feet around the thing.
And 10 feet around it, so the grass just stays full of everything that gets left there. Do we wanna pay so $750, $650 a month?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's because we did that
As a trial.
last month, because we were, and I think still are, unsure how much longer Abraham's gonna stay, and
As a
he's not
trial.
coming very consistently. So I feel like that was just to buy some time, so that got taken care of until a new maintenance person was coming? Is that basically?
If you decide, Nancy's had him doing work, but he's going away
here-
again, right?
Yeah.
He's away
He'll be
again.
gone
Yeah.
for 4 days, Friday and Monday.
So that's not that much, I'll be out 2 days.
No, and I had a long conversation about it with him. His ability to respond to text messages, his ability to respond to emails, and primarily his attendance, because that has been questionable at best. The first thing we all need to realize is that he has another position. He is a pastor at a Spanish-speaking church. So he has other obligations for that. But it's a small church and he needs additional income. Okay, fine. But it still needs to be here in order to get that additional income. And that was my biggest concern with him. And I made it very clear to him that all the absences that he had during the last 12 months or 14 months are excessive. They're just flat out excessive. And we cannot operate with him in that position and him being gone as often as he is. So he told me that this year, I think he said there were 3. One of them is this, okay, he'll not be here Friday, he'll not be here Monday. He should be back next Wednesday, and he's willing to work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to make up for the Monday that he missed. And he also gave me dates in June, of a 5-day conference that he'll be gone for. Those are the 2 that I know for sure. The third one, I can't recall what dates, if he even had the dates. But I have told him that his continued employment was going to be, contingent upon his ability to be here. So, I'm hoping that that went to his head and he understood. I have since learned his understanding of English is not so cool, is not so good. I can talk to him, I can ask him questions, and he says, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I'll say to him, Abraham, I'm asking you a question. Oh, okay. And then he'll respond. So I'm trying to work with him to get him to understand. The jury is still out in my head whether or not, whether or not he is, gonna be the right candidate. But I can assure you this, finding somebody else.
I got the speaker chair.
may not-
Did you hear that?
They're all
Yeah.
over.
Like a
Again,
whoopee
I'm
cushion.
sorry.
Finding a replacement for him
I got
is
to, that
pretty
was
hard.
Yeah, whoopee cushion.
Yeah. So
I
that's-
think we should go ahead and put an ad out once I have all the details. I'm happy to, you could put a free ad out on Indeed, but then we could post some stuff around here locally to see. I do think a 20-hour a week would be more attractive than 10 hours. Most people, 10 hours, it's almost like,
He's 12.
he's 12. Well, something that low, it's almost like it's not quite enough money to make it worth it to a lot of people, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it depends on your situation, I agree with you, I understand.
There was conversation on that, not this past budget season, but the year before, right, Charlie? Like, they wanted to put, I don't know what the figure was, like 50,000 or 60,000? 40? Yeah, and then,
So are we allowed to hire anyone for more than 12, or would we have to like go through a bunch of?
we got funded.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So I think the first thing we should do is just let's put an ad out and see if we get any bites and see if there's anybody decent. And we can put it for like 20 hours just to see if that attracts more people, or like 10 to 20, and then just kind of see what, yeah.
Are you borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, like, oh, there's $40,000 for the maintenance guy, but you won't be able to do this over here, because
It's not 40 this year, it's only 15, and he's only about, the duty-free contract, especially just for the 2 months, but for the year would fall under that 15, because based on the hours he's approved to work and his pay rate, there's extra money for that, so.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing about that, and because he's taken off so frequently, there was money that hadn't been spent that was assumed would have been for his compensation that was used for the dog keeping. And I think one of the issues is that nobody wants to do it, but it has to get done, and we weren't sure if he was coming back, so I think that was really why I'm doing it short term.
And it would free him up to get other stuff done, because my work orders were not being done.
I have 9 that are not completed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're
That's
not all
gonna
for
help
this
us out.
week, so.
No, these
Yeah.
go back a ways. These go back a ways, I've got them right here.
So I have one comment in this handout, they talked about reviewing a 40-year-old bylaws document and showed an example. And just to say that in another organization I'm with, there is a rule in the bylaws that every 6 years, the bylaw rules have to be reviewed, and maybe we need something like that so that it does get reviewed.
That may not be a bad idea, considering how times change.
What is the status of the lawyer's review of the?
Okay.
Did everybody kind of words?
No, I have a good answer, but I'm a little upset at the answer I have to give you. The bylaws and the articles were emailed to me on my way here, and the declaration I'm supposed to have by tonight or tomorrow morning at the latest.
Oh.
However, I put a demand in to have it in plenty of time for this board meeting, not the membership, but the board meeting. So
I thought they were only putting the declarations together and not doing anything with the bylaws.
just combining it and taking out the declarant in all language,
Okay.
right? Because you only have one article, one bylaw.
Right.
So it was just taking out the declarant, updating them,
Mhm.
and then combining the declaration. So yeah, what we're looking for, what we asked for, and the meat of it is the declaration, and that's the one I don't have. Oh, don't let me lie, let me check.
Okay.
But literally, I was driving here, it was like 5:30, 5:20? Nope, not yet. Oh,
Has he
wait.
had
I
any
mean-
kind of an explanation as to why it's taken so many months? I mean, he said it was gonna be done in a short amount of time, and, I mean,
Nancy,
it's been months.
I've worked with him, you know, I worked with a lot of them, and there are times when they get behind, and times when they're always behind, times when they're on point. I think this is exceptionally long, but yes, there's plenty of reasons. If you're upset with him, then you would say there's plenty of excuses. If you're not upset with him, then you'd say there's plenty of legitimate reasons.
Well, I'm just
So,
questioning
you know what
reasons.
I don't know how to answer that, depending on the day, whether I'm ticked off about it.
Yeah.
Because I do like Jeremy, I do think he gives good advice, and like I said, I work with other attorneys in this field, and I find them to be all, you know what I mean, they kind of advise the associations the same. Well, of course they do, because they study the same statute, same case law, but I don't know what I'm talking about. But for this, the reasons, I completely understand the reasons that you haven't received it yet, but I don't think that's our problem.
No, it's their
Right.
problem.
Right.
It's their problem.
I would say if we were gonna do like review, which I think definitely doesn't hurt, would it be like looking at other options